Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm James with Fiery Faith Ministries, and I am blessed to be here for this morning manna. Really enjoy these presentations throughout the week. They are a blessing for me. I really enjoy studying the Word, trying to find and listen for that still small voice. I always ask the Father to just give me a word, even if it's just one word. That's all I need. And then I can go from there and research, and it leads me to new things and other things that I've not seen before. And it is a wonderful learning experience for myself. And I hope that these messages can be a blessing to you, that you can glean from it, that from our heart to your heart, you can hear the message of Yah within. So thank you for joining, whether it be live or later down the road. That is our hope and prayer, that whether you're watching every show we do or just one show, we pray that that show touches you and allows you to grow closer on your journey to the Father. That's what we're trying to do here, just grow closer with one another, and more importantly, and above all, the Father and His Son. So there has been a word on my mind lately. I've been hearing it a lot out there as well. So I thought, why not go ahead and touch on it? And I think it is an important topic, and sometimes it's overlooked because it's just almost become second nature to us. We don't realize we're doing it sometimes even. And I'll have to say, a few weeks back in our Torah reading, as we discussed the tarzat, the leprosy that was brought upon people due to a gossip, a slandering word, an evil tongue. It's mentioned in different ways. That physical ailment of leprosy of the skin was brought on them by that sinful act. And we can see that people still are struggling with this in many ways. And so my message today, if I can get it brought up, is weaponized whispers. And this is a pretty graphic image, but I thought it was necessary to show. When I look at this, I just see the tongue of the adversary, that serpent tongue, whispering lies and evil and hate of all sorts. And we know the tongue is such a powerful weapon for good and for evil. It is ultimately up to us how we decide to use it. And so we just want to be able to tame the fire, not necessarily put it out, because it is important to have fire within us, the Ruach, the spirit that keeps our desire, our motivation burning for the Father. But if we're not careful, it can easily get out of control and spread. It's contagious. We know gossip, whispering, all that can be contagious if you're around one doing it, or if you're doing it around others. It can easily be caught on. So I just wanted to share this morning, and praying that you can hear the message within. It was a great learning lesson for me, and I hope that overall we're able to kind of reevaluate how we act and to make sure that we're not participating in this type of behavior. There is a very big difference between the wisdom of yahuah and the lies of Hasatan. Yahuah will lead you to heaven, but Hasatan will take you to hell. The words they speak will be very different. Yah will encourage, and Hasatan will deceive. In Matthew 4, 1 through 11, we see Messiah also had Hasatan whispering in his ear. But because of his close personal relationship with the Father, he withstood the lies. Hasatan tempted him 3 times, and every time Messiah used the word of Yahuwah against him. After that third temptation, Hasatan knew he could not beat Yahusha. So the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. When I think of Hasatan coming to tempt Yahusha, I realize he is going to come against every person, especially the obedient believers. If we do not know Yah's word, so we can identify his voice, we are going to fall victim to the lies of Hasatan. It's so important that we stay in the word so that we know what is truth and what is not. Hasatan is the master of deception, the master of lies, of whispers. There's many different terms that I really feel fall in together. They're all one, just different variations of it. And when I think of whispering, this is what I think of. If you're not willing to say something to the other person's face, then you're either whispering, you're gossiping, slandering, backbiting. Like I said, there's many different variations of this act and this word that can be used. They all essentially are the same thing. So a whisper is to keep something from another being heard. We just have to make sure that we're speaking life and love, not hate or evil or even words of doubt or deception. The tongue is extremely powerful, and if we're not careful, it will get away from us. If I wanted to actually look at the word in Hebrew, we always get a deeper understanding when we can break it down. And I'd love to hear your interpretation on this word if you're seeing something different. There's many variations you can have. This is just what came to my mind looking into these words. You have the lamed, the het, and the shin. The word whisper in Hebrew is lachash, a primitive root of lachash, to whisper, by implication, to mumble a spell, as a magician would, a charmer, whisper together. So to me, when I read this, I immediately realized that if we're whispering, if we're talking behind someone else's back, are we speaking a spell, a curse on them? That was really powerful to read and to realize just because they can't hear them or can't hear what we're saying doesn't mean those words aren't going out there that can't cause damage. I almost had an image in my mind yesterday when I was working on this, that those words of slander, of backbiting, of gossip that we're whispering, even though the other party may not be able to hear that, the adversary can, and he's going to use that against you. Is he going to then be the one that finds a way to deliver that message into the other person's ear? It just really hit me that we don't know exactly how the adversary works, but we know he has a tool bag full of tricks while he is roaming this earth like a lion, seeking to kill, steal, and destroy. So we must be careful what we're speaking. With this ministry alone, we have had words whispered into our ears, some positive, some negative, trying to discourage us, get us to stop. The only one going to be whispering in our ear, telling us to stop, is the Father. And we're going to do this as long as we can, as long as he wants us and wills us to do it. It is a blessing for all of us. We thoroughly enjoy doing these presentations, fellowshipping with others. We know not everybody can have a local fellowship. We generally drive roughly 2 hours just to have a fellowship locally. And sometimes on Shabbat, that feels more like work than rest. And although we do enjoy it, we're not always able to make that kind of travel. So we really do enjoy the time that we can spend together here online. Not everybody can physically even go to a fellowship or due to their locations. So we are just so blessed to have this fellowship. Whenever you are joining, whenever you are able to participate, it means so much to us, and we just want it to be a blessing for you, whichever message you are hearing. So I just wanted to share that and let you all know how important you are to our ministry here. And we're just one of many ministries. We're not competing against anyone else. We're just speaking the word that has been put on our heart from the Father. And we hope that as one body, we can all continue to grow stronger. We all have different talents. We all have different knowledge. And so we need to be using that as a team. There is no I in team. And when we are together, we are stronger. So let's remember that. When I was looking at this word whisper, we see it, the lamed, the het, and the shin. So when I broke this down, what came to me was to destroy and separate from the shepherd or the teacher. We know the Messiah is our teacher. He is the shepherd looking after his flock, willing to leave the 99 to go after the one lost sheep. And that's kind of where we have put our ministry at. We're wanting to reach the lost sheep, the ones that have either fallen away, that don't know the Father, that need that relationship of hope and blessing and encouragement in their life, because there is such wonderful things to be had when you have a relationship with the Father and the Messiah. And so we are all on a different journey, but we're all seeking the same destination, and that is New Jerusalem, the heavenly gates. So whispering, that is one way to destroy or to separate ourselves from not only the Messiah, but what he taught. He was never one to whisper. He was never one to teach that, to condone it. I'm sure he rebuked it many times when he was living, the Pharisees or others and their gossip, their slander, backbiting, the whispering. I'm sure he heard all the times that he was being spoken about. Even if he wasn't even around, he could hear the thoughts. And I've got a really interesting verse to finish up with that really correlates to that fact. But we can see whispering is from Hasatan. It's one of his many tricks. It's one of his many tools that he gets us humans in our fleshly emotions to fall short of, to stumble. It's such an easy thing to do, sometimes second nature, not even realizing that you're doing it. And so we've got to make sure that we're using self-control, that we're using love and not hate. We know what comes out of the mouth comes from the heart. So make sure that your heart is pure and righteous, and you won't have these whispering words of evil, these weaponized whispers coming out, attacking those around you. So let's share some verses here. Proverbs 16:27 through 29. A wicked man digs up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. A forward man sows strife, and a whisperer separates chief friends. A violent man entices his neighbor and leads him into the way that is not good. We can see how much division and strife just a simple, small, quiet whisper can cause. That gossip, that slander against another, it can really destroy, cause damage, discouragement. So many horrible things can come from such a small little action. And it's just so important that we are able to tame that burning fire, because we know the lips and the tongue can be a weapon. Used for good or evil, it is ultimately our choice. I love these two verses out of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. Not everyone may have read these before. They are part of the Sefer, I believe also the Apocrypha. They are not included in your normal 66 book canon, but they are wonderful reads. I really enjoy everything that I've read out of Sirach. Has been extremely powerful. So let's read out of chapter 21, 25 through 28. The lips of talkers will be telling such things as pertain not unto them, but the words of such as have understanding are weighed in the balance. The heart of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in his heart. Exactly what we just read a few days ago in the Besora portion. Whatever comes from the heart will eventually come out of your mouth. You can't hide it. If your heart is full of love and purity, that's what will come out of your mouth. If your heart is hardened with hate and anger, hostility, that's what's going to come out of your mouth. When the wicked curses Hasatan, he curses his own soul. A whisperer defiles his own soul and is hated wheresoever he dwells. If you have ever been a whisperer, if you've ever gossiped, that reputation can follow you, and people will know you for that act. And generally, people do not like that, whether it's about themselves or someone else. That kind of attitude really can cause a bad reputation. So we've got to make sure that that's not who we are. That is not the fruit that we are bearing. We want to give off good, righteous fruit, being an example for others to follow. Whispering is not a good example for others to follow, but they will follow that. If they're seeing that happen many times, they will follow that because it is contagious. Some people find joy in it. Second nature. You don't even realize it sometimes. There's many reasons why you can get caught in this trap. Next verse is Sirach 28, 12 through 18. If you blow the spark, it shall burn. If you spit upon it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of your mouth. Curse the whisperer and double-tongued, for such have destroyed many that were at peace. A backbiting tongue has disquieted many and driven them from nation to nation. Strong cities has it pulled down and overthrown the houses of great men. A backbiting tongue has cast out virtuous women and deprived them of their labors. Whosoever hearkens unto it shall never find rest and never dwell quietly. The stroke of the whip makes marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaks the bones. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue. That is the most powerful verse I have read in quite some time. And it just shows you right there how destructive the tongue can be. Broken down nations and strong cities. The houses of strong men have fallen due to a wicked, whispering tongue. And to just think how many people have fallen by the sword, yet more have fallen by the tongue. It is so destructive, brothers and sisters. We must tame that fire within. If we're seeing something that is offensive, that we don't agree with, we don't always have to voice our opinion. We need to pick our battles. Not saying that you can't debate things, that you can't have a healthy discussion. Many times it's hard to maintain that healthy debate. And we've been seeing that in various groups, organizations, really friendships, and everywhere you look. It is hard to debate. I know Lee has said many times, people that are looking to be offended will be offended. It's almost impossible sometimes, and that's where you have to walk on eggshells around people because they're going to find something offensive and they're going to voice their opinion. Well, you don't have to do that. You can turn the other cheek, as Messiah says. You can keep on scrolling. You don't have to join that fight. Let it pass. Move on. Sometimes that is the bigger act, the stronger way to walk this narrow path. Romans 1:28 through 32. And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of Elohim, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who, knowing the judgment of Elohim, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. We can see right in the middle of this list of abominable, wicked things is whispers. A sin is a sin, no matter how big or small. And if you ask me, a whisper is a pretty small thing. It's a quiet voice that doesn't take a lot of effort to even get out, but it is large and destructive and dangerous. It is no different than any of these other wicked acts of unrighteousness. I don't want to be included in this list, even if it is only just a whisper that's coming out of my mouth. Psalms 119, the longest chapter in the book, in the Bible. And I'm not going to read it all. This is already in verse 169, but I really enjoyed this. And this is what we need to be focusing on versus using our tongue for evil. Use it for good. Use it for praise. Starting in 169, the Tav. Let my cry come near before you, O yahuah. Give me understanding according to your word. Let my supplication come before you. Deliver me according to your word. My lips shall utter praise when you have taught me your statutes. My tongue shall speak of your word, for all your commandments are righteousness. Let your hand help me, for I have chosen your precepts. I have longed for your Yeshua, your salvation, O yahuah, and your Torah is my delight. Let my soul live, and it shall praise you, and let your judgments help me. I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek your servant, for I do not forget your commandments. Focus on the word. Focus on his commandments, and you will not want to partake in that whispering act of destruction. Hasatan will not be able to penetrate your mind with his whispers, with his lies, with his deception. That is all he has. He can't physically harm us, but he can mentally and spiritually attack us with his words of lies, deceptions, his whispers, his weaponized whispers. I really enjoy all the readings in James, but I'm going to share chapter 3 in its entirety. Well fitted for this message. It's titled Taming the Tongue. Let me see if I can, that is a little bit small. Let me get it pulled up here. Okay. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horse's mouth, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet they are turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor wills. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasts great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindles. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defiles the whole body, and sets on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of Gehenna. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea is tamed, and has been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we Elohim, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of Elohim. Out of the same mouth proceeds blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Does a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries, even a vine figs? So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. But if we have bitter envying and strife in our hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descends not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion, and every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is shown in peace of them that make peace. Let's make peace with each other. Let's speak love over each other and for each other. Let's use the wisdom that the Father has given us towards each other, knowing when is right to speak and when is right to hold our tongue. Remember, no one's forcing us into that argument. We have the decision to walk away if it be necessary. You don't always have to join every argument. And I wanted to finish up with this verse here. It just really got me thinking about what Messiah went through. Matthew 12:25. And Yahusha knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. We want unity within the body. We cannot be causing our own destruction within this narrow path. We don't necessarily fit in with the world, with the masses, with the bigger religious type. And so we need to make sure that we are taking care of each other, because there's not that many of us to begin with. We don't need to be causing strife. We definitely don't need to be causing a divided house that will ultimately fall and be destroyed. But just think of Messiah. If right here it says he knew their thoughts. He didn't hear them. He knew, well, he heard them within. He didn't physically hear them speak that. They were thinking this on the inside. Yet he still knew them. He heard them. All the mocking, all the hate and slander and gossip that people spoke against him. Yet he was still willing to die on the tree for you and me, for all of our sins, to drink that cup of iniquity. And so next time you're wanting to whisper, to talk poorly about somebody else, to gossip, not only think about the torah, the leprosy that those with an evil tongue received, but also think about Messiah willing to forgive each and every one of us, because we didn't know what we're doing. We're only human. We have those emotions, those fleshly desires that take over, that can get out of control at times. He knew that. He was willing to forgive us so that we can spend eternity with him. So the one thing you have to remember is Hasatan has a plan for your life, just as yahuah has a plan. The Apostle Peter warned us to be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. That is Hasatan's plan for your life. Nothing but destruction. When you hear someone whisper in your ear, stop for a moment and think, does this encourage me and provide hope for my life? Or does it seek to destroy my life? Remember, Hasatan is a great deceiver and will try to make his plan seem like it's the best idea you've ever heard. You have to really take the time to pray and to seek Yahuah's wisdom. He will reveal the truth if you take the time to seek his face. Seek ye first the kingdom of Yah, and listen for his still small voice. He's the only whisper that we need to be listening for. And his whisper isn't going to contain words of wickedness, confusion, distraction, discouragement. Only love and hope and joy. The fruits of the Spirit is what Yahuah is speaking to us. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful week, a wonderful day. Blessings and prayers for all of you. Shalom.